Assalamu alaikum friends. Welcome to the Zero Excitements channel. Where did all our childhood excitements go? Because it feels strange admitting that once upon a time, happiness used to arrive without planning, without budgeting, without self-improvement podcasts, and without asking whether it was productive or meaningful. Excitement meant waking up early on a Sunday just to watch cartoons, when the biggest stress of life was whether the ice cream vendor would come to our street or not. When rain meant instant joy instead of traffic anxiety, and when birthdays felt like festivals even if the cake was small and the gifts were socks. Now somehow everything is bigger but feels emptier. Our screens are brighter but our days feel duller, and the strange part is not that life became hard, but that even the easy parts stopped feeling exciting. Adulthood didn't steal our joy violently, it quietly negotiated with it, slowly replacing excitement with convenience, wonder with efficiency, and curiosity with certainty. Somewhere between school bags turning into office bags and bedtime stories turning into alarm clocks, excitement didn't disappear. It just stopped being invited. Childhood excitement came from novelty, from not knowing what tomorrow would bring, and from believing that everything ahead was better, while adulthood is built on predictability, schedules, deadlines, routines, and the painful awareness of how things usually end. The mind slowly stops reacting with surprise and starts responding with caution, because now, when something good happens, the first thought is not joy, but fear of losing it, fear of responsibility, fear of maintenance, and fear of what comes next, and that fear quietly suffocates excitement before it fully forms. We laugh less, not because life is sadder, but because laughter now feels optional, conditional, and sometimes even irresponsible, as if enjoying yourself without earning it first is a crime. Somewhere along the way, we learned that happiness must be justified, explained, optimized, or monetized, and the moment joy needs explanation, it stops being joy and becomes a task. That is why childhood excitement felt explosive, because it was useless, unproductive, unnecessary, and therefore pure, while adult excitement feels rare because it must pass through filters like time, money, energy, mood, and permission. And by the time it survives all that, it's already tired. Then there is comparison, the silent excitement killer, because as kids we compared toys, not lives. And now we compare milestones, incomes, relationships, bodies, and timelines. And suddenly even good days feel insufficient because someone online is having a better one. The mind starts treating happiness like a competition you're losing. So instead of feeling excited, you feel behind. And that constant sense of lag creates emotional fatigue. Because it's hard to feel excited when you're always mentally catching up. Humor becomes darker because reality is heavier. Jokes turn into coping mechanisms, sarcasm becomes a shield, and laughter often hides exhaustion rather than joy. Then there's the pressure to turn every interest into income, every talent into a side hustle, and every passion into a brand, which quietly kills excitement, because excitement doesn't like performance, it likes privacy, and it likes being pointless. When even hobbies start asking what they'll give in return, the soul quietly resigns, because childhood excitement was free, and nobody asked what football would teach us, what drawing would earn us, or what daydreaming would achieve. Now everything must justify its existence, including happiness, and responsibilities arrive not all at once, but layer by layer, through bills, expectations, family roles, social obligations, and emotional labor, until excitement starts feeling like a luxury item you browse but don't buy. You're always saving energy for emergencies that may or may not happen, and over time, the nervous system forgets how to relax fully because it's always on standby, while excitement needs safety to bloom.
Adulthood often feels unsafe, not in dramatic ways, but in quiet, persistent ones, like uncertainty about the future, fear of stagnation, fear of being left behind, and fear of wasting time. And these fears don't scream, they hum in the background, slowly lowering the volume of joy. Even when something good happens, the excitement feels muted, delayed, and cautious because the brain is trained to ask what could go wrong next, and that creates the illusion that something is wrong with us personally. We start thinking that maybe we are broken, numb, ungrateful, or lazy because everyone else seems to be enjoying life online, smiling, traveling, winning, and glowing. But what we forget is that excitement doesn't survive constant broadcasting. Joy shared too often becomes performance. Performance drains authenticity. And what we see online is not excitement, but presentation, which makes us compare our internal boredom with other people's edited highlights, deepening dissatisfaction and distrust in our own emotions. If we're not excited, we assume we're failing at life, instead of realizing that excitement was never meant to be constant, and childhood only made it feel that way because childhood itself was a protected environment designed to maximize novelty and minimize consequences. Adulthood, on the other hand, is an open-world game with no tutorial, no checkpoints, and permanent consequences, so naturally the emotional experience changes. Maybe the real loss isn't excitement, but innocence. The innocence of believing that life will take care of you, that effort will always be rewarded, and that adults know what they're doing. Because once that illusion breaks, excitement becomes harder as reality becomes clearer. Clarity is stabilizing and grounding, but it's rarely exciting, and sometimes it feels boring, which we mistake for emptiness, because nobody warned us that stability feels dull compared to chaos, peace feels quiet compared to thrill, and safety feels uneventful compared to risk. That may be why childhood excitement feels unmatched, because it lived in chaos, surprise, and imagination, while adulthood lives in repetition, realism, and responsibility. And yet, the strange truth is that excitement didn't leave, we did. We left it behind while chasing outcomes, postponing joy for someday, and telling ourselves we'll enjoy life after this phase, this goal, or this struggle, until years pass and excitement becomes a memory instead of a habit. In reality, adult excitement is quieter, subtler, and less dramatic, showing up as relief, contentment, a good cup of tea after a long day, canceling plans without guilt, finishing something you kept delaying, laughing at something stupid for no reason, or sleeping without anxiety. Because it doesn't scream, we dismiss it, forgetting that we're addicted to intensity, not happiness. And while childhood gave us intensity naturally, adulthood requires intention. Maybe zero excitements isn't about having no excitement at all, but about realizing that life didn't become empty, it became realistic. And realism doesn't sparkle, it settles. Learning to appreciate that settlement might not bring back childhood excitement, but it might bring something deeper, steadier, and more honest. And if this realization feels uncomfortable, then congratulations, you're not broken, you're just awake. Welcome to Zero Excitements, where life doesn't thrill you every day, but it also doesn't lie to you anymore. Like, subscribe, and we'll meet again in the next episode of Zero Excitements, where we'll make even more boring parts of life so interesting that you'll feel entertained while being bored. Allah Hafiz.